What's up? What's up? What's up? Seems to be my intro. Welcome to another episode of the Peon Podcast. Do I have to keep saying that? Do I have to keep saying that? I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. On this episode, we got a guy that I've worked with a few times on the magazine. Hopefully, we'll keep working together. Andrew Jack. He's kind of a food experimenter and fermenter and all kinds of different things. I found him through Instagram. If you're not following him, you should. AJJack_ on Instagram. And he's doing crazy things with fermentation and wild plating and stuff. You know, we talk about it in this episode, but it's kind of like just the most extreme, forgetting about pricing and any sort of food standardization and just going wild, going ham on some ingredients, you know, just doing the wildest things you can imagine with ingredients. So definitely follow him on Instagram. But he actually did some work on the first issue of Peon. You can still read it. I'm not sure how dated that page is because it's been a while since I looked at it, but he did some amazing things with beets. Like he covered it in like clay or something like that. I forgot what it was. And then on the second issue, that was during the pandemic. He was just going wild with beans. And he had made his own soy sauce, and he was messing around with fermenting black soybeans and stuff. And with that one, we worked with Tommy Washbush, who is a fucking great artist. And I'm actually planning on having. I know. I always say this. I always go I'm working on this thing, but really, I am working on a lot of shit. And this is yet another thing to put on the pile. But I think the first special edition T-shirt for Peon is going to be the cover of that article, and it was Andy's idea. It's fucking great. It's a cover of a Black Flag album, and it's like this guy who's in the fucking corner of his room, and you can tell he's just going crazy. But instead of that guy, it's Andy, and he's in a room full of fermented items, and he's going crazy. And instead of Black Flag, it says Black Beans. So we're gonna be making that into a T-shirt, and I'll let you guys know when that's out. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna release that. I kind of want to have it around just in case people want to order it later. I don't want it to be one time only kind of thing, because I really like that design a lot. Aside from talking about his work in fermentation and in kitchens and stuff, you know, we talk about the standards, you know, getting sort of burnt out in kitchens and sort of growing out of kitchens, which seems to be a pretty standard topic. I talk about it a lot. I think about it a lot, especially when my knees are going out when I'm trying to get into lowboy. You know, it's realities of my life, especially when I'm working a station. And we also talk about, you know, finding your place in kitchens. And it's kind of grim for me because I realize that I do enjoy the high of a station and the anxiety of it. That's kind of, maybe I've gotten addicted to it. Maybe that's a possibility. But I do enjoy it. And at a certain point, you can't really enjoy that anymore because your body just gives out, you know. You can only do it for so long. So I got to find a new addiction. I'm thinking of a few things, or maybe I'm already addicted. I don't know. Who knows? People that know me can probably answer that question right now. Aside from that, as well, we talk about Guy Fieri, another one of my favorite topics. I love Guy Fieri. I love that he accepts who he is and just accepts the irony around him. And oddly enough, Andy actually met Guy Fieri at this wild show that Guy Fieri did, and we weren't quite sure, or he wasn't quite sure if it actually saw the light of day, but I looked it up. It's called Guy Fieri's Roadshow, and it was kind of I think we said Emerald Live, if you guys remember that, Emerald Live, if it was a rock show, but it's really more of like a variety show. On stage, it's like a live show. They took it around the country, and you can actually watch clips of it on YouTube. You can see the show that Andy was actually at. I'm looking at it right now. 12 years ago, Guy Fieri's Roadshow, Milwaukee, 2009, December 9th. It's crazy. There's I don't know what to think about this show. There's a guy who's doing karaoke, but the DJ's not playing any music, so it's a cappella. And he's doing some Stone Temple Pilots song. He's just a cappella yarling. It's crazy. And then there's a woman doing The Worm. It's almost like a bachelor party that got out of hand. It's really weird. Guy Fieri's got flames everywhere. His chef coat has flames, like decal flames on the side. There's the DJ's wearing like a white like chef coat, tuxedo mashup, and then there's like a police siren that goes off. It's really wild. Check it out. This is very small clips about it, but man, definitely is a time capsule. Yeah, this is it's a great episode. It gets a little technical because that's kind of Andy's life, you know. But if you like fermentation, if you have any sort of interest in fermentation, man, he's one of the most interesting people out there. If not, maybe this will get you into fermentation. But definitely check out Andy. He's one of the most unique dudes out there doing some crazy shit. And go buy his stuff, Dad Dust and Umami Salt. You can also find that on his Instagram too. And maybe I'll get that Dad Dust sponsorship soon. You know, here's hoping. Enjoy this episode. Thanks.
And I feel the time's a ways to go. So where you going till tomorrow? And I see that these are the eyes of disarray. So would you even care? And I'm feeling as she's breathing. Where you going for tomorrow? Where you going with the mask around?
Part of the fun of hosting podcasts, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. Have you always lived in Madison?
Yeah, so I've always lived in Wisconsin. So I grew up in rural Wisconsin. Yeah, outside of Milwaukee, out in the countryside. All my neighbors were like horses and cows. You know, it was very real rural. Yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, what got you into kitchens? Did you like start in like some like country ass kitchen, or did you move into the city?
No. Actually, it was growing up out there. I always ate pretty like simplistically, but my parents did a lot of outdoor projects. They not only just like hunted and fished, but had a lot of garden. Used to keep bees, grow mushrooms, all that kind of stuff.
So is that where you get like most of what you do now?
Yeah.
Is that how you like know what to look for when you're foraging?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I had never put two and two together really. You know, cooking was always just sort of like a means of a way to eat. Like, since we had all the sort of like raw ingredients on hand, if I was hungry, it wasn't really this sort of like, I don't know, art or fun thing. It was more just like, oh, all right, I got like venison and potatoes in the storage. So that's just like, I took it super, like in hindsight, I realized how special and privileged all that was. But at the time it was just like, I don't know, like, it's just
throwing some shit together.
The norm for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my parents definitely cooked. They did a lot of simplistic things, but kind of everyone in my family had their own project a little bit. So I started kind of just getting more into cooking. I would just check out cookbooks from the library.
Do you remember what made you want to do that?
Yeah, especially with just like having all the raw ingredients and stuff like that. I think just kind of internalized really early that like making different combinations of things, you could make new stuff. So I didn't actually get out to eat very much at all. Didn't really go to restaurants that much growing up. But like anytime that I would see something on a menu and any like foreign word that I didn't recognize. So I was super curious about what it was. Always wanted to try the new thing no matter what. Yeah. Yeah, just that kind of idea that cooking meant that you could really kind of eat anything that you wanted. It was more eating motivated than anything. Oh, okay. You just want to try some new shit, some new weird shit. Yeah. And again, just kind of taking that for granted and just kind of thought that was something that everyone did. And it was only until maybe high school, once people started getting jobs and everything, that I was like, oh, okay, I have a little bit of like a leg up here with, some experience with processing things and stuff like that. That's pretty cool, man. Yeah. So when did you take the plunge? When did you get your first kitchen job? Did you even like think I want to be a cook, or were you just like, shit, I need to get a job
just get a fucking kitchen job?
No, I was actually bored in high school. We had a pretty big high school, so they sort of had this like what do you call it, program with a tech school where you could get tech school credit if you wanted to. I had no plans of going into the culinary route, and I never ended up going to culinary school or anything. But just
thank God, right?
I started. Yeah, thank God. For real. That's a common consensus.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. I was gonna spend $30,000, and I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely dodged a bullet there. But I was literally bored, and it was a way to take less credit in regular classes. And they had a kitchen in my high school.
Damn,
so I got some
lucky, man.
Licensing, and I'd sign up for random events, those like culinary competitions through those tech schools, sign up for those weird events. I hung out with Guy Fieri for a whole day.
No way, dude. What was like, we gotta stop.
Yeah.
Look. I can't know if you can see that. I have like Guy Fieri pictures up here on my wall.
Yeah, he's got it.
How did you land that?
There was a little, like I said, since I was signed up for this whatever, like accelerated food program thing, they would just send all these pamphlets and stuff. And there's one, I had zero context. It was just said like internship with the Food Network for a day. And it was during a school day.
Okay.
I was like, 16 or 17 at the time. So this was, over 10 years ago. I was like, let's do it. Let's hit it. And I remember it was in Milwaukee. Guy Fieri had like this like cooking road tour show.
Okay. Was it a cooking show?
Yeah, so it was like on the road with Guy Fieri. It was supposed to be sort of like a late night concept show. So there was like,
okay.
I don't want to say exactly like a Saturday Night Live. Like there obviously wasn't like sketches or anything. It wasn't exactly a late night show, but like there was a DJ and a band. What? You know, Guy Fieri would like drop a one-liner, and then there was like local chefs. Yeah, it was.
So he was like the host, like the talk show host.
Oh man, I don't even. It's like, it was like if Emerald Live had like this late night Guy Fieri over the top spin. So it was still all cooking based, but there was like a trick bartender. There was like a local chef, and then like Guy Fieri was like the main act. It was completely surreal.
Wait, so you just applied for that, and then they gave it to you?
Yeah, there was like 3 other culinary like students or accelerated program people or whatever, and just like essentially like supposed to be like staging sort of. I like squeezed limes for this like trick bartender because they like. Part of the show is there's like a VIP section where people got hammered off to the side of the stage.
Wait, the guests or the
like part like if you paid extra or whatever, you got a little VIP club.
You got to get fucked up with Guy Fieri.
Exactly.
I'd pay for that.
It's a dream, man. So that was kind of like that was our role. So we did some prep, and then while the show was going on, it was sort of like liaison for this like VIP club. So like Guy Fieri would like demo how to do something and then pass it off to the side where we were kind of off to the side, and then we'd kind of finish it up and then like run it to this VIP section. That was kind of our role.
Okay.
On the show, but it was an all day thing. I got there at like 8 a.m. I think I left at like 3 a.m. First taste of a kitchen schedule.
That was your first taste of a kitchen? Damn. Yeah. What was, how old were you?
Yeah, I was like 16 or 17 at the time.
Oh, shit. That's a dream, man.
Yeah, no, it was.
Have you tried to find that episode? Like, did they ever air it, or was that like just a dead show?
No, it was all filmed. I don't know if they were just prioritizing that it was live or like what happened. If something terrible. I have no idea. But yeah, it never aired, and then like that adds to this realism of it. I'm like, did this even happen? Some crazy Guy Fieri fever dream? No. Yeah.
Did you actually get to meet him?
Yeah, I remember they were like hyping us up, even though I don't know, his face was on the side of the tour bus. They're like, "Are you ready to meet your Food Network star or whatever?" It was at Riverside Theater in Milwaukee, which is like a theater stage, right? So they had the curtains pulled, And he like ran out from behind the curtains and was like, rock and roll, dude.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he have the car with him and everything?
Yeah, no,
The
he
Camaro?
was. If he, if Guy Fieri, the TV personality, is a character, he did not break it the entire time. It was
Shit,
exactly
damn.
as you see on the show. He was just like
Backwards
full of
glasses.
one-liners, backwards
Oh,
glasses. Hair was already, in the
dude.
zone.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, every tagline, dynamite money, symposium of flavor, I got the full package. It was,
Nice.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
That made you want to go into kitchens. You're
I was
like,
gonna say,
it's all
apparently
gonna be like this.
that was the turning point. Yeah. Before that, you know what? Like maybe subconsciously, I didn't think that, but now that you're saying it, that's around when I started working. So maybe you're onto something. Maybe it got to me.
Damn, dude, you never thought of applying at Guy's American Kitchen or whatever?
Oh, now that I got it on the resume, I always got the plug. Yeah.
Oh shit, man, I'm jealous, dude.
Yeah.
So what was your first official kitchen job, and how disappointed were you that it wasn't like hanging out with Guy Fieri?
Yeah, it was. I was fortunate enough to kind of hop straight into professional kitchen stuff. I was moved to Madison, was studying like nutrition stuff and just kind of looking for like, I don't know, a 20-hour-a-week gig or just something like that to kind of learn some skills, make some money, stuff like that. There's a really large farmers market, so I was kind of helping as like a foraging person, and then I was just badgering the chef about just sort of like if they got any prep spots open or just whatever. I just wanted to kind of keep that train going. Liked cooking a lot, so wanted to learn some stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that was kind of my first in. So I was I think 18 at the time. Yeah, that's when I started. That was first foray into a professional kitchen.
What kitchen was that? Was it like Applebee's kind of thing, or was it like a fancy place?
Yeah, definitely. It was like French farm to table kind of vibes. We don't have any Michelin program or anything like that here, but definitely one of the more high end flagship sort of places in the city. And that was during the time that sort of not that it's not this way now, but I feel like the whole like food blog sort of like farm to table celebrity status, if you were a popular chef, you were really you had an absolute endless stream of interns and people who wanted to work for you and stuff like that. I guess that's only changed recently, but it was definitely it was cool that I had landed that spot at the time. I was pretty hype about it.
Did you start a prep, or did they throw you on the line right away?
No, I started at prep, and then I even though dip my toes here and there or whatever, I pretty much just was there. I was there almost 2 years, and I would say 80% of it I was prep, and that's always been my favorite station. So that was kind of I don't know. That was like I love prep. So started there, ended there. I like the I don't know, kind of methodical aspects of cooking more than the high octane. I've always been on that end of the spectrum, and always will be.
That's it's kind of what you do now, right? You're more like on that kind of side of things as opposed to like working a line.
Absolutely. Pretty much that first experience, I've pretty quickly learned where I'm comfortable, what I want to do as far as work within kitchens and things like that. I've always felt more on the love R&D, love prep, love methodical recipe development, and I never jived the line. Never been quite as there's just you meet people who are just absolute machines, and I mean it's obviously from their work and experience and the amount of hours that they put in. But man, I could never nail that level of consistency. I'm not a good line cook. So that's
Damn.
kind of,
Okay.
yeah.
That's really smart of you to like know where you're good at. Cause like, I feel like I'm the opposite. Like I like the high of like getting your ass whooped and like, going super fast and stuff like that. So, it worries me that I'm getting older and I can't really do that anymore. So, I got to figure it out. But did you ever get a chance to jump on the line? Did they make you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I did guard and just sort of like a revolving door type thing, just kind of being young and from the outside and stuff. They definitely let me dip my toes into some station stuff on nights that were a little bit more normal and things like that.
Okay.
Definitely did a lot of floating and things like that, especially, when, special holidays, events and stuff like that, but I pretty much always, especially being someone who was working primarily the weekends and busy days and stuff like that, they needed so much relief. And I was always the first one to volunteer for that kind of stuff. Yeah. For whatever reason, line stuff always made me, it makes everyone anxious, but I deal with it. I never entirely acclimated to it. So yeah.
Where did you move to after that? You said you stayed there for like 2 years, you said?
Yeah. Then, and that was kind of, my decision was more monetary than anything, as you can imagine.
Yeah, of course.
Right. You know how it goes. So, I was fortunate enough to, just like know some people in the area and sort of just was pinch hitting for other companies doing catering stuff. And I started to see just some of these like wedding catering bills that were passing through. And I just kind of quickly started to realize like, if I were to sort of like do this sort of thing in any sort of like longer term or sustainable way, that was kind of where I should start to kind of put my focus. Not only that, I noticed like things like buffet style, family style, just kind of the logistics of it, again, with that prep background really appealed to me. I like the idea that I could just prep 300 portions of something and then the next step was service instead of sort of jumping back and forth and, like reading all these tickets and stuff like that. I kind of liked the streamline aspect of it. So I started getting into kind of doing some private chefing stuff to just sort of accumulate a little bit of equipment, and then I just kind of jumped ship immediately. Probably a little early. Could have accumulated a little bit more professional experience, but wanted to make that money. So jumped into wedding catering then. And
wait, so did you start your own business, or did you jump on another company or something?
Yeah. I started my own stuff. It was, as you can imagine, pretty janky at the start. Just went from private chefing, just like setup of like going to the market on whatever day of the event, super early, bringing everything on site and just kind of doing it there. I don't know. I had a couple folding tables and a Weber grill and then just leverage their kitchen.
Okay.
And then I just wash dishes, whatever.
So it's just home. You, just a solo cook in the back.
Yep. Yeah. So started small and then just, had friends and stuff like that in the industry. So like,
so you kind of called in some favors and shit.
And then I don't want to even say scaled from there. I kind of found a niche in sort of doing all of these sort of like custom, more like super special diet and or like ultra high end type gigs, things where the menu was never the same. So never had a consistent season menu. It wasn't ever like pick out of these options. It was always every single individual event was custom. I read a different menu for every single one. And that's kind of where I landed, found my niche. And now that's sort of kind of my forte now is sort of menu development and stuff like that. So just constantly doubling down on that end of things.
So you've been in catering this whole time after that one kitchen?
Yeah. And again,
or like private chefing and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I picked up for consistent hours. I was working a daytime like kitchen shift, just doing like lunch services, kitchen manager for a small kitchen operation out of like a cheese shop, Wisconsin stuff. So yeah, just, like consistent things that, didn't go over 40 hours a week or whatever. So I could do these other side things. So I've definitely been here and there and, pinch hit for places where I can. But otherwise, yeah, I've been pretty much independent for about a decade now.
Damn, dude, you're living the dream for most cooks, really.
Yeah.
So, what does that kind of look like for you?
Yeah, it's basically word of mouth for weddings.
Word of mouth, damn. Okay.
Weddings were always sort of like the trickiest logistically, but also,
I've done a few. It's a nightmare.
It's insane. It's absolutely
crazy.
Insane.
You're not doing big ones, right? You're doing like a little smaller.
So during the summer season, I kind of would have an abridged menu for, keeping things really pretty simplistic. And with that simplistic stuff, just a lot of cheese charcuterie boards, salads, fresh fruit, and then just like maybe a starch and something hot. But otherwise, it's pretty much just grill station and prep. That I can do for up to about 200 people. But otherwise, most of my gigs would be, small, like private chefing or like a corporate retreat or just like little things like that.
Okay.
And those in general would, be much more, would be just me. And then at that point, it's less than 25, right?
Less than 25, damn. Okay. Any nightmare caterings?
Oh, man.
I've been to a couple.
Especially with, I have a hard time saying no to things. So I remember a client wanted a couple potential sample menus or whatever. So I wrote sample menu A, sample menu B, sample menu C. Each one was like 5 to 7 courses. And they looked at them and they said, "We'll take all of it."
Oh, shit.
We'll take all of it.
What?
And it wasn't, they weren't someone that to say no to, really.
What do you mean? So, like somebody rich or something like that?
I had a prior client history and they've been super generous with me. Just a good rapport with them. And it was a very special event. It was a wedding for one of their kids. So they would go with me because I could pretty much do anything. So they really took that to heart. And then when they saw the 3 menus, they said, "Yeah, we'll pay triple.
Holy shit, man.
Just make it happen." So
that's crazy.
I had butter poached lobster tails on the menu,
Jesus.
along with a couple other sous vide items. And I just remember I had pre-blanched shucked all these lobster tails. So it was a ton of work. And I remember it was for about like 200 people. So I was doing all this. This was like one of my earlier forays into sort of big events. So I really didn't have the infrastructure to deal with this kind of stuff. So I had the butter poach was all sous vide set up, and I had I had like 6 sous vides going for this, and
that's a lot. Dude.
So I was running them all because it was all like for that last all minute. Like
wait. So was everybody getting everything?
Yeah, I was running through the buffet line. So
oh my god! So you just had to keep shit.
So I had to keep
damn.
So in and out. So whatever that inventory was, I just remember dropping it in and being like this. The amount of lobster that I'm putting in right now is worth more than my car. And, and I cannot, if I screw this up, that's it. Like there was no backup plan. It wasn't like I, run to the grocery store and buy more. And it was this hot day summer wedding, and it was all right on site. And I was just like, all right, fingers crossed. Yeah, hope that this works out. And I pushed my luck for a couple times there, and now I'm luckily in a better spot where now I have gear and infrastructure, team or whatever to back it up. But there was definitely a couple dice rolls, in that transitional point, and yeah.
Did you make it through that catering?
I did. For what you know how it goes. Like you on the back end of things, you can get super analytical about all the little details and what potentially you could have done differently, what went wrong, blah, blah, blah. But on the front half of things, they were happy, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, of course.
Right? That's all that matters.
Like I said, I've done some nightmare caterings, and then like you think like everybody's gonna be pissed, and then the father bride comes back and he's fucking drunk. He doesn't care. He's so fucking happy. Yeah, everybody's so wasted, and like they thought it was the best night of their lives. They have no idea that half the food just fell off the truck or whatever. They don't care.
The best compliment that I've ever gotten was you nailed it. It was father of the groom came up to give me a compliment and so wasted, gave me 2 thumbs up, and then he fell straight forward. I was like, all right, we did good, I guess. That's as good of a compliment as I can get. Yeah,
that's a pretty good compliment. Shit, man. So how did you end up moving into fermentation and stuff? Do you end up using a lot of fermentation on your menus, or is that or people kind of not really into it up there? I don't really know what the vibe is up there.
Yeah. So the work that I publish online, more of anything, is almost an outlet. It's sort of things that just have no limitation. When I do events for clients and things like that, I really take the, I guess, idea that it's a lot larger than just sort of my own personal ideas.
Yeah, you're trying to like please the crowd.
You want to please the crowd. There's so many factors. You want to be able to, pay your vendors on time.
Yeah.
You want to be able to pay staff super well. You want the crowd to be really happy. And I just think by the time you deal with all that, all the logistics, limitations and everything like that, that creativity is more leveraged in sort of like maximizing value for all the parties than it is sort of like having ultimate creative control and being like, oh no, this needs 20 touch points on this plate. I just, it's not, that's just not what it's about at that point. So honestly, I was never really able to get a lot of my own personal ideas, things like that. This all comes full circle back to like upbringing, just sort of like with being on the land and having a lot of ingredients and things like that. I always really liked like preservation techniques, seasonality, things like that. But that never, a lot of the time, it didn't necessarily manifest itself on menus. So actually with COVID, all that business stuff was essentially uprooted. Instead of, pivoting into takeout kits like everyone else, I just kind of like used up a lot of whatever my resources that I kind of saved up. I kind of, liquidated a lot of my inventory equipment, and I just went full creative mode, not focusing on business stuff at all, and just kind of putting things out there, not only as a creative outlet, but just sort of, I've never been able to kind of like show people what I could do on the R&D end, and I've always wanted to share that kind of stuff. So really, that's all kind of been in the past couple of years, and that's really what I ultimately enjoy doing and really like to focus on. So it's been really cool. I would never be here. I would never be talking to you if it wasn't for
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. So it's been everything. It's amazing the amount of people that you can meet. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, everybody's like within reach. It's crazy. So you just started as kind of like a creative outlet just to kind of fuck around and like live out your crazy ideas, or? Yeah,
it was like, here's a couple food photos and here's some sort of B-sides of sort of like, this is something that, wouldn't really make sense to put on a menu, but it's something that I really kind of thought was cool. And then I started getting traction with it and people were kind of interested in it. I've been familiar with like pickling and fermentation and stuff like that, again, just as a means of preservation. But then as like Noma Guide to Fermentation dropped and that started sort of becoming, trendy, the whole like sourdough bread, koji, all that kind of stuff. I was like, man, let's go. Like, that was whatever. I always loved that stuff, but it was never like, I never thought anyone was interested in it. So I never really shared it.
Yeah. Now it's the hot shit.
Now it's the hot shit. So I was like, yeah, let's get this out here. So that's when, I wanted to share the highlight reel, kind of the thoughts, methodologies behind all that stuff. Yeah. That's really that's where I like to put, I love all that stuff. Yeah.
What's your sort of process nowadays? You just like kind of go out, fuck around, find what you can, and then kind of just come with an idea? Or is it sort of...
No, it's definitely, it's almost always utility and ingredient focused. I think, again, probably the most privileged position why I'm able to do this is between excess inventory from catering and having all this like experience with excess like garden stuff growing up and everything. If I was testing on a project, I could do like 10 iterations on it just because I had the material to work with. So I kind of make a schedule based on what I expect the seasonality to be, like starting out with, whatever their super early stuff, ramps, spruce tips, rhubarb, green onions, all that kind of thing. And then, going into whatever late season, peppers, squash, etc. I just kind of try to keep in mind what's going to be an influx, and then I just try to push the envelope and do something different with it every single year. So instead of just sticking with whatever classic means of saving things, I'll just always try something new with excess inventory every year, and just try to push the envelope and try to combine things in different ways.
I gotta ask you, man, why bugs? What's the bugs, man?
For context for anyone interested, there was the entomology department with the university in my city, UW-Madison. They host within the entomology community. It's a pretty big event. It's called Swarm to Table.
That's pretty cool.
Play on farm to table, and the focus is obviously on sustainability, aspects like cricket farming and how efficient it is compared to like meat farming and stuff like that. So again, just being someone who really, really likes experimentation, things like that. I guess the big secret is that it wasn't that edible insects was like my passion or anything like that. It was just like, hey, cool, here's another ingredient to try to optimize, figure out some stuff that we can do with. And it's definitely not uncharted territory at all, right? There's massive cultural history behind all that. But like, as far as like, introduction to Western palates and things like that, it is relatively new. So that was a cool opportunity at the university. They needed menu planning and consultation with that kind of stuff. So yeah, I did their event this last year and just tried to push the envelope and kind of utilize bugs creatively. Not that I see them, typically get applied in sort of that Fear Factory context, right? It's like, here's a whole one. And, if you think about other ingredients that would never fly with, you never put like a whole, I don't know, you never put like a whole
zucchini on a plate. People would be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Like, what are you doing? Exactly. So yeah, there's just a lot of room for interpretation and kind of, making cool shit. So I remember, a couple friends were like, dude, like, what's going on, man? What's with this? I mean, chill, bro.
Yeah. How did it go? What'd you come up with, I guess?
Yeah, it was fun.
I saw the lollipop. The lollipop was fucking cool. I saw that. And then you were fucking around with some like fermented ants. Yeah. I believe.
Yeah. I mean, of course, like I believe that almost like no individual idea is original. There's so many permutations in cooking that you can combine certain things and then call it your own, but nothing's original. No. I looked up, it went as far as like, I was looking at the fat content versus like protein ratio of like silkworm pupae. And I was like, this is akin to egg yolks. I wonder if this is applicable in ice cream. And lo and behold, I type it into Google, and there's literally scientific studies on like the utilization of silkworm pupae as an emulsifier in ice cream.
Jesus.
It's like everything's been done.
Shit. Did you end up making silkworm ice cream?
I did. It's to this day the absolute worst thing I've ever made.
What did it? What did it taste like, man?
I'm assuming this is entirely my fault. My prior context with insects was that I was making a sort of mealworm Nutella, and when you toast mealworms, they get darker and nuttier, sort of in like a coffee way. So darkly toasted mealworms that were completely desiccated. I could replace a certain ratio of cocoa beans, and it was making a really awesome sort of chocolate product. Super cool. So that was kind of my prior context. So I had these dried silkworm pupae, and I thought I'll do the same thing. I'll toast them, get them kind of this nutty vibe. They kind of almost had a little bit of an nutty aroma of like peanut butter raw. Uh-huh. So I thought, we'll toast this, get this ripping, and then I'll keep it, relatively low in the ice cream. And then, worst case scenario, if it's a little inaccessible, we'll just, put in, I don't know, a chocolate peanut butter swirl and call it a day. That made total sense. I had no doubt in my mind. In fact, someone had asked me, and I was like being cocky about it. I was like, yeah, no, like this is golden. Like, you don't worry about it. Like, it'll work on the menu. Yeah, I'll make it delicious. It'll be fine. It'll be delicious. So I'm toasting these as part of R&D. I'm toasting these like silkworm pupae, like 300-degree oven. And I put them in, and it's starting to smell kind of buggy in my apartment.
Oh,
There's
shit.
like this, like if you go into like, a basement, not the damp mildewy, but there's another smell. And like, it's just like, that's how it started to smell in my apartment. I was like, okay, it's just I'm rationalizing it as like this shit's off gassing, right? Like I'm getting rid of the buggy smell, and the toasty smell is gonna be there. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking it's all going fine, doing some other prep in my apartment or whatever, and I leave my apartment building, take out the trash, and I come back down the hallway. At this point, I realize my nose is just acclimated to the smell, and that actually, like, it is awful. It's the absolute worst like aroma, and it's like it's gone like 100 yards down the hallway. It's
so it's taking over the whole complex.
It's taking over the whole
damn.
complex. No, I'm sorry, everyone. So I come in there, and of course, again, because I'm already too deep, I'm like, this is still solvable. Like, I'm like, this is not. So I kill the heat on. I'm like, okay, maybe toasting this dark isn't the vibe, but we'll cool it down. All the bad shit aromatized. We'll cool it down and we'll mix it. Made that into ice cream. Just like used it as the base. Spun that into ice cream. And it looked fine. Texture was super silky. Like just whatever. It was like felt like it was like fresh out the Paco Jet. I was like, damn, all right, we're on to something. Emulsion was beautiful. Did all the whatever fat conversion ratios, super, super thoughtful. Took a spoonful. I'd thrown some vanilla in there. Top note, great. As soon as it hit that like melting point, it opened like Pandora's box of like,
shit.
It was so disgusting. I immediately took everything out of I like cleaned house out of my apartment. I immediately took all my equipment, all my cork containers that, emptying them and rinsing them. They all went straight into the trash. It was.
Did it taste like garbage, or did it taste like butt? What did it taste like? Because people eat.
It was like
silkworm pupa.
No, and again, it was my own processing methodology, because I revisited it, and different processing was absolutely fun. Whatever the dark toasting did,
it just wakened the beast.
Was like, it was waking the beast. It was just putrid.
Oh shit!
It was try it. I'll
give it a try. All right, put that recipe up on your
my high recommendations. Yeah, highly recommended if you want an experience.
Oh shit! You should put that one up on Instagram, man.
Yeah.
Tell the whole experience.
Yeah, this one's free. Sub to my Patreon.
What else did you come up with for that one? Was it mainly like desserts and stuff, or did you do some savory courses?
No, yeah, we did full multi-course. There's some really fun stuff. Weaver ant egg ceviche. That one was super fun. The ant eggs kind of had just sort of this neutral, kind of almost like gelatinous texture, but they're like surprisingly big. They're almost the size of like jelly beans.
Oh, wow.
They took super well to being relatively neutral flavored. They took super well to like a lemongrass, lime, garlic, things like that. Again, I despite like publishing a lot of things that might sound a little, they're more technical in like the data context, I look a lot more toward like traditional applications recipes. Again, I think that people have essentially tried everything, and the things that work really well and resonate with us have been done. The more that I've learned, the more that I read books, I just realize like, nothing's really that new. It's just like, there's obviously modern techniques and, hydrocolloids and whatever, isolated ingredients. But with the exception of that stuff, which, it only has, limited context, I think that a lot of, really nice traditional applications of things are in general the best. So, a lot of the bugs were sourced from Thailand, so there's just inherently a lot of Thai flavors, stuff like that.
Did the ants actually like take on the flavors of like what they're eating? Or does it mainly taste like grass?
It's kind of a chicken and egg scenario, right? Like sourcing on insects in general is going to be, by the time they make it here, most of them are going to be dried or canned.
Damn.
There is some there's some really cool like local cricket farms and mealworm farms. So shout out to those people who are making that work. But a lot of the more specialty ingredients and sort of fun things, things that people might be interested in working with, the sourcing is pretty difficult. So it's tricky because then also with more difficult sourcing comes less decreased demand, and with decreased demand it's harder to get better sourcing. So a lot of these ingredients are not inherently bad, but it's akin to a fresh mango versus a dried mango, right? You lose some of the aroma, just some of the characteristic aspects of it. The ants are still pretty exciting. They have like a lemony fumaric acid bite, but I've had ants sort of fresh and I've had them dried, and same thing. It's still night and day. It's like fresh citrus versus bottled citrus. Absolutely.
Have you tried sourcing locally? Have you tried like gathering some ants and seeing what's up?
Yeah, it's just whatever being
Nice.
want to experience it all. Just like, all right, I guess we're eating local ants just to find out what it's like. Never thought I'd be in that scenario, but I'm like, all right, I gotta try this. And fresh sourcing is definitely a thing. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with like catching grasshoppers or anything like that, but again, with like farming, the quality of fresh mealworms versus dried is apparent. Same with crickets. The fresh frozen significantly better. Can do a lot more with them. I still think there's a lot of sort of optimization in sort of the fractioning of insects. Again, like insects have an exoskeleton, they have entrails. I'm speaking pretty ignorantly here. I haven't done enough whatever research on this front, but just I look at other, super populous, ingredients, and there's, things to be done with, processing and stuff like that. Again, we don't just like buy, entire chickens and grind them up and just with everything and then just expect it to be
that's true.
good.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
I just kind of same true with insects. I just like to see what novel processing could perhaps be done in the future. Just with different parts of it have whatever different flavors, and obviously they're too small to sort of like hand process. But maybe there's optimization there. I don't know, just ideas. Again, it's have to be my field of study to speak more intelligently about it. But it's just things in the back of my head as I work.
Have you sort of gone more down that path, or have you kind of moved on to something else?
I've moved on to something else. If that comes up again, I think that's generally going to be an annual event. So maybe next year you'll see it. It's whatever's I guess kind of immediately available or of interest. So right now all the spring stuff's back in season, so it's spring stuff for me.
What are you working on right now?
Applications of rhubarb is always a favorite ingredient. You typically see strawberry rhubarb pie, maybe some like rhubarb wine or something like that. Outside of maybe fine dining stuff, I don't see a ton of things. So I really I like to see what I can do there, just because I think it's a cool ingredient that produces pretty prolifically. So freeze concentration's always been my favorite application of it so far. Kind of letting sugar sit on sort of the entire rhubarb stem mash. So sliced and macerated rhubarb mixed with sugar. And then I let it sit literally on the stems in like cold temperatures. I think it picks up more of the actual like rhubarb aroma characteristic. And then I will filter out all of the solids and then sort of have the remaining rhubarb juice. Then I'll freeze and thaw it repeatedly until I get sort of this rhubarb extract. It's like bright pink. And then I really like utilizing it from there. Like you can make, do anything from like a rhubarb curd, like lemon curd, all the way to like a cocktail ingredient. Can make that into, a super fresh wine that has, no cooking application. Mixing it with koji to do sort of like a acidified kind of, maybe like shochu sort of.
Okay, like a little rhubarb
I don't know exactly.
Or amazake kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like. Like where you see like citric acid producing varieties of koji being utilized for certain alcohols.
That's really cool.
Rhubarb is by no means a niche ingredient, but sort of things that that you see get used more one note. I like to really kind of try to like push the envelope on that kind of stuff.
Do you get bored at all with using the same ingredients, or you dig deeper every season?
Yeah, I really do not get bored. I don't actually believe in having like truly objectively perfect end product. I think that's
a really good attitude to have,
right? Like, I really do believe that there is food that tastes like shit, and there's food that tastes good. And then, there's food that tastes amazing. But even within that sort of realm of amazing food, just sort of there's an upper and lower range based on, what people's, prior preferences are and things like that. So I feel like if you're just within that realm of like, wow, this is really good, at that point, it's sort of subjective preference. I sort of have kind of this dream of sort of having a lineup of like condiments, bottles. It's just like a line of like, for lack of a better term, like potions. Like it feels like alchemy. Taking food products that, like taking raw ingredients and really maximizing them to be greater than the sum of their parts in sort of ways that people might be slightly unfamiliar with, but then are also just super, super good and are available in like a pantry or freezer setting that are just constantly around. That's what I like to optimize. And I could spend a very long time working on one particular product, just sort of dialing it in and trying to make it the absolute best kind of standardized product it could be.
Is that what you're trying to go for next? Is that what you're looking forward to for the next few years? More towards like products?
Yeah, I love product R&D. That is definitely where I'm sort of situated. I kind of would like to lean on that more as a dining concept too. I like the idea of, again, instead of relying on 100 touch points on a plate and a bunch of crazy spoon pushes and stuff like that, I really would like to do sort of extremely prep heavy, transformative applications of a bunch of ingredients where by the time you get the plate of food, it feels rustic, homey, but then at the same time, it is straight up alchemy where it's like things that flavors you've never experienced, applications and visuals that you've never seen before. That's really where I want to optimize things.
Are you talking about like in a pop-up setting, or are you talking about like an actual restaurant?
I would probably do it in a pop-up setting just because of its sort of like fleeting nature. But it's kind of in direct contrast to right. Like I'm not going to be flipping the most tables.
Yeah, right.
But that sort of intimate, small pop-up, almost like prefixed, kind of immersive setting is. Mm-hmm. I really like that stuff.
Like kind of like wolf mouth, like that kind of thing.
I'm unfamiliar. So
wolf's mouth. I think.
Yeah.
Let me see if I got his name right, real quick. I mean, he's kind of more so doing like crazy plating and stuff like that, but he creates like a whole environment. He did like a Halloween kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
Where it's like. You like walk in and it's like a whole environment. It's not just the table sitting in an empty room. He's like creates the whole atmosphere so that it matches the dinner. But his plating is insane.
Yeah, that's amazing. I got a new rabbit hole to go down. This is
check him out. He's
conceptually, I love that.
Okay, yeah, check him out. He's super mysterious too. And like no one knows what he looks like and shit like that. It's wild. But so you're imagining something like that, like a pop up that's got like a conceptual kind of thing going on in the background, and it's like one seating.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's whatever. It's borderline a cliche at this point, but I've really been valuing
it's still cool. Yeah, still special.
Yeah. Again, I think that there's only so much that you can do by the time you have good ingredients and you process them well. There's only so much you can do on the actual taste end of things. So I really think kind of optimizing experience, and again, not trying to sort of make this like Michelin perfection where you're kind of actually like controlling every last individual detail about the environment, but really just making a space that's extremely memorable is really kind of my interest. If I think back to any incredible dining experiences, it goes so much further than the actual food, right? It's the setting, it's the people you were with, it's, you know, it's everything.
For real, yeah. Well,
so I'm just thinking about those things a lot.
Well, dude, you got to get down to Mexico because it's fucking crazy. It's insane. Like, just for one example, this place called Macan, we it's like 5 of us, and we went there because Eric Warheim, you know, the comedian Eric Warheim. He went there apparently, and we're like, okay, let's go find this place. It's like a Singaporese Mexican mashup place, and so we get to the corner. And there's no building. There's like nothing. We're like, where the fuck is this place? And so the only person who speaks Spanish asks another restaurant on the corner, where is this place? And they just point to this other building. That's like, there's no way to get in. It's like you'd have to like know this place just to find it. And so finally, my girlfriend follows this guy, and he goes into this like little secret doorway behind a shop. And then that turned out to be the restaurant. You walk in and it's like this beautiful, like it's like a courtyard, but it's all jungly, and all the kitchen's like right in front of you, and the bar is like crammed full like people. And the food was, I mean, some of the food was great, some of it wasn't, but I'll remember that place forever because it was such a crazy experience. And there's so many of those places in Mexico are like that, where it looks like nothing on the outside, and then you go inside and it's something completely different. It's a whole, they really value the experience a lot. So you gotta go check it out. There's a million places like that.
I love it.
Last thing I gotta ask you, man, what the fuck is going on with Dad Dust? Where did it come from? What the fuck is it?
Dad Dust is a bold seasoning salt.
You guys nailed the marketing.
Hell yeah. Thank you, dude. Just in time for Father's Day here. No, Dad Dust was, what was the original context? It
sounds to me like, if I imagined it, I imagine you guys were fucking around. You're probably high or you're drunk. You come up with this idea, and then you were like, fuck it, we're gonna actually do it. Is that what happened?
Yeah, that is almost precisely what happened. I remember it was like, so we do whatever, Alex, Big Al, he does whatever music and like photo pop-up stuff. We'll take people's photos, and then I'll make food at whatever, just, we'll like pop up at a courtyard of a restaurant. And I think as like part of the merch table one time, we were joking around about doing this, and it was pretty much at that point almost like an art project, right? You're just like, whatever, let's just do this. I have my other product, Umami Salt, which is something that I sell, and it's something that I use a lot in my cooking, but it's more for subtle applications. I have absolutely nothing wrong with the utilization of MSG. I use a shit ton of MSG in a lot of things, but my Umami Salt formulation is intentionally meant for things that I think don't need to be very heavy-handed, so it's just mushroom powder and salt. And Dad Dust was the natural sort of response where I was like, man, I need something on the other end of the spectrum. I need like some that like knocks you in the teeth with So it has like MSG, but it has the longer chain like ribonucleotides. It has like the inosinate, stuff like that sort of synergize with MSG. And then it's kind of in the vein of Loyeries. I just love that like grill dad kind of vibes. Yeah. I don't even know if it's ironic or not, right? Like it's like towing that line.
It is towing that line for sure. Yeah, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and I don't even know. But no, I mean, it's a good sign because I use it in my stuff all the time. So I'm like, okay, I'm onto something here. Nice. So so people like it. I don't know, whatever. We'll whatever. Ship you a bottle after this. It's fun, man.
I just buy myself a case. Like you said, Father's Day is coming up. How do you do the legwork to like get things into bottles and stuff? I find that amazing. Like, I wouldn't even know the first thing about how do you get that into the hands of a manufacturer.
No, I mean, I guess the big secret behind that whole industry is that nobody knows, right? Maybe you work somewhere, and that's how you're familiarized. But otherwise, it's just a big amorphous gig to navigate. Again, I was lucky enough. I was working in a cheese shop that had a gift section, so I could see the products that were kind of doing well and what was circulating, things like that. And I kind of saw umami as like an upcoming trend. And this was whatever years back, mushroom powder and like flaky sea salt mixed together as a way of handling mushroom powder is sort of something that I would use in my cooking all the time. So I was like, you know what, I already got this kind of formulated. Let me just see if people are interested in buying this. Remember I put up, I don't know, there's like Google or whatever would offer out of like having a business LLC, offer you like $100 of free ad money or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
so I didn't even have, the product didn't even exist. And I just threw up an ad for it. And then just wanted to see if people would even like gave a shit, right? When people would click on the link, I was like, oh, okay, there's a little bit of hype around this. So that's when I actually finally was like, okay, maybe this is worth getting the appropriate licensing for and all that kind of stuff. And then that's when I took the plunge. Yeah. It's a whole different world that has virtually zero overlap with, working in a professional kitchen setting. But again, it's more of a logistics game, but it's cool. And like, sure. I mean, I assume that the audience here is, largely industry people, and I can't recommend enough just like sort of having that something like just slightly diversified, like just with how turbulent, like gig work and restaurant work is, having something that kind of just exists. Yeah, is just incredible. So yeah. Anyways.
But how do you actually like get it into do you hand that formula off to like a manufacturing company and then they do it? Or do you buy the bags and then you fill it at home? Like how does that work?
The most logical place to start, especially for someone in a kitchen, is to just get your business licensed to a kitchen, and then you kind of and then you just go out of there and you do that almost as a proof of concept. Unfortunately, just like any other food stuff, even more so, it's an economies of scale kind of thing. So, you probably, you spend your first couple months, if not years, operating in the red, just kind of making small print runs on like the packaging, labels, whatever, hand filling. And then at that point, if you get a, decent audience, then you can, fortunate enough to finally hand over formula to co-manufacturer, they're called, right? Who essentially packages the products for me now. So dope.
Nice, man. So you're at that point. Is umami salt doing pretty good?
Umami salt's at that point. It's never guaranteed. Of course, hope for the best always. It's constant. I'm not a salesperson, so that's always been kind of something. I don't know. Whatever. It's a sales job. It's a sales and logistics job at the end of the day.
For real, right? Yeah. Do you find yourself like having a love-hate relationship with Instagram? Is that something you enjoy? Because I find it, I think you do it really well. You got a really good like consistent concept and image and stuff like that. But
I would say the only thing that I dislike is trying to consistently remain relevant. I'll look at the last day that I posted something and I'm like, oh shit, that was a month ago.
Same here. I had no idea.
Yeah, I definitely did more so big, I guess, I don't know, thing that kind of really helped me with it is that I've sort of been curating the feed a lot more, just constantly hitting that not interested button anytime that's something that isn't directly applicable to work that I like doing, food. Everyone has a different relationship with social media and personal shit's cool too. But for me, I use it to get inspiration from food and to sort of display my own work and find other like-minded people. So I really I put in a lot of effort into, I guess, kind of like maintaining it like that. Because you know how the algorithm wants you to watch.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Cat videos and shit.
Yeah. Videos and shit.
All right, man. Well, I guess that's the last question. What's next for you, man?
Yeah, that's a great question. Who knows? I like product development, R&D, hoping to kind of get into a little bit more consistent space. Kind of like you're saying, just like kitchen work's super, super fun, but the sustainability of it is questionable at best. So kind of at that point, I think, as this is true of everyone and, state of the service industry, that's another podcast.
Yeah. Real.
is just like, got an image of, not working in kitchens all the time, and, just how much more healthy and how much better your body feels and stuff like that. And I'm not looking to go back full time really anymore. I'm happy with gigs, but that's where my brain's at.
That's where you're at. All right, man. Well, dude, I really appreciate you hanging out for an hour and talking shit, man.
No, this has been amazing. Super
Nice.
cool.
Thanks, man.
And just the magazine's insane. The amount of, production and effort and just whatever.
Thanks, man. That means a lot because it's just me in this room doing that shit. So
yeah.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
That's good.
Appreciate it, man.
So where